Only on Makers International do we all go commando.
Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from 3 countries, 2 continents, and featuring 5 guys separated only by the same language. Here's your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, wherever you are and you're listening. I'm here joined, as always, with Mr. Chris Cute.
Hello, how you doing?
The not-so-average Joe Whitaker.
You're right, I'm here.
Alan Robinson.
How are you, fellas?
And I think he's out on parole this week. It's Jamie Page.
How are you doing?
Good stuff. As I did last week, I'd like to do a few thank yous to all those people that have been commenting and rating us and giving us the big ups on social media. So first of all, we've got James Dean, Rob from Woodsley Summercraft, Bob over at Plustrum Crafts, Simon Hopkins, The Badger Workshop, Robert Evans, Sharp Edge Woodworking, KSFWG, Temple Boy Turnings, and Rick from the Wilkie Shop, and also a big shout out to Steve French over at Wooden Stuff. Finally, a massive shout, and I hope you guys you'll thank me for this, is Frank Samandel. I think that's I don't think I've butchered it. I hope I haven't butchered his name too much, from the YouTube channel Sawblade Projects. I think he did the coolest shout out of any kind I've seen to date on video. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, Frank, that was really cool because he kind of edited us into the middle of his video as to what he was listening to when he was making that project. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it was great to get that insight.
It was a big little shock as well. And actually, we heard Joe and Jamie talking, which was kind of a bit scary, actually. But, so all those thank yous. So big thank you to all those folks. And I actually don't really, at this point in time, I'm not going to ask you what you're up to this week, because I'm actually quite excited to introduce our guest this evening. Now, this week we've got a very special guest. Not only are they a maker, a qualified carpenter, not only are they female, but you probably haven't heard of her either. So very special, warm Makers International podcast welcome to Nicola Butcher, the female chippy. Hello, Nicola.
Right.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. It was really nice of you, and I thought it'd be a really good fit with the whole international thing, and particularly as you're not on YouTube, are you?
I'm not, no.
So the fact that people don't really probably know you unless it's from, is it Twitter where you're quite big?
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. So what we're going to do, hopefully, is just open the floodgates and bombard you with questions, because you're the guest. You're here in our little lunatic asylum for the next hour or so. So has anyone got any burning questions that they're absolutely dying to ask first off?
I do. Boxers or briefs?
Don't answer that.
They don't laugh. Richard asked me to ask her a question that she probably hasn't heard a lot of. So I just, what?
Trust Chris.
How about
Chris
neither?
on the nutter in here.
Neither? Oh, commando. The girl goes.
There's plenty of other choices.
Excellent
I
answer.
think I love you already.
I was just about to try and rein everyone in there, Nicola, and you beat me to it with probably the best answer you could have come up with. So fantastic. I think that definitely sets the mood. And in your face, Chris.
Yeah, go to that one. Good for you, girl.
Only on Makers International do we all go commando. But I have an actual question for you. A lot of our listeners know I'm a big comic book fan, so I'm a big fan of origin stories. I'd love to hear your origin story, how you became a maker, and you've been on television. You're huge on Twitter. How did that all come about?
It started when I was 16. I left school and I thought to myself, I want to be a beauty therapist. And I went to the college, did an interview, and unfortunately they said to me I couldn't do the course because I didn't have any GCSEs. I never did my GCSEs because I was home educated, and due to family circumstances at the time I didn't take them. I then thought to myself, what am I going to do now? And in the interim period between me having to decide what I was going to do, I was offered some work experience with a local carpentry firm. And I took 2 weeks work experience doing various different, there were external carpentry jobs. Found out that I really, really loved doing carpentry, and kind of found a way from there. I got offered an apprenticeship, and that's kind of how it started, really.
Everything just kind of snowballed for you from there.
After I got offered the apprenticeship, I was working 4 days a week, doing college 1 day a week, and yeah, it just really kind of worked out from there, and yeah, it went really well.
Had you never done any sort of kind of working with your hands up until that point? You literally just kind of fell into it, did you?
I'd done little bits and pieces like around the house because my dad wasn't too well when I was growing up. So I'd done little projects. I'd learned how to like put a shelf up, little things like that. And I really enjoyed doing it. Probably one of my most favourite things is when we moved house, I wanted a pond in the back garden, and my mum bought this flat pack pond kit, and I always remember putting the pond up in the back garden, which I really enjoyed. It's only like assembling piece by piece, and they had all the bits cut in, and I would just put them together. But I felt really proud of that little pond. And that was one of my favourite little projects, and it was kind of like when I was 16 and started doing carpentry, I kind of felt, oh yeah, you know, I've done little bits and pieces, and yeah. The
fact that you got so much pride in putting that pond together, I think a lot of people can relate to that, because I can remember like the first thing I ever built, which was probably out of Lego. But you know, you get a real sense of achievement than just getting something that's already there. Or that's so cool. And how long did your apprenticeship last? Was that a 3 year or?
I think it was 2 years. I know it took forever to set up and get started because I went with the worst college in the world. But yeah, I think it was 2 years by the time I finished it.
And that was just the carpentry side, was it?
Yeah, I did a level 2 carpentry and joinery apprenticeship on site.
But you also do decorating, don't you?
I do bits and pieces of decorating. Most of that stemmed from when I actually started going to college. I started going for the decorating course, but I lasted 1 day and decided I hated it, and then went to carpentry. It was a bit crazy. I did a lot of carpentry work for a local decorating firm because they employed my employer. So I did a lot of carpentry work for that decorating firm, and then that was kind of like you pick up bits and pieces as you go along, and you learn how to do things, and you watch the other guys doing a bit of decorating, and that's kind of where that stemmed from. And I did a little bit of practicing around my mum's house and realised that actually I could cut in, and I thought actually I'm not too bad at decorating. I guess that's half the battle, isn't it? If you can cut in, you can slot paint across the rest of the wall. Yeah, it means I can paint what I build, so that's got to be a benefit. Absolutely. You know, you're sort of seeing your own projects through from start to actual finish rather than I see a lot of people that you know, they finish to the point that the paint has come in or whatever, but I guess that's a real finish then, isn't it? It's complete end state. It means you always get the finished pictures as well. I like to put pictures of what I've worked on up on Twitter and Facebook, and it means you always get your finished pictures rather than getting a half finished, the decorators have got to come in picture, and relying on your customer to send you a finished picture, and they never do. It's nice to leave a customer and say it's all done as well, rather than them having to worry about other trades. So it's good. Yeah, I guess that's a big plus for you. You get the whole job, get the whole project under your belt. You've only got the customer's only got one person to deal with, and you get the satisfaction of the finished thing. What about hanging wallpaper though? Oh God, no. I've done it a few times and I've hated it every minute. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I do have a couple of decorators locally that I know, and they're brilliant at it. So if anyone says to me, can you do this bit of decorating? I want a bit of wallpaper, it goes straight in their hands, and I pass it over. Sometimes it's just not worth the hassle. No, absolutely not. I specialise in the carpet and they specialise in the decorating. So if they get a little bit complicated, then yeah, I'll move it on and pass it to someone else. I think I can definitely relate to that. Absolutely. Has anyone got any other burning questions?
I've got a question now. I'm not usually known for my serious questions, but this time I'm going to make an exception because having a guest on is quite a big deal for us.
It can't be any worse than Chris's question.
Right, now, imagine a scenario. You've been at work all morning, you stop and have a coffee break or a tea break. What's your choice of biscuit?
Really? I love a bourbon biscuit. I've been known to eat a fair few of them. Yeah, I'd say that's probably my absolute favourite, actually, thinking about it. You get the nice, at Christmas you get the nice tins of biscuits, and I like all the wrapped ones with the chocolate around them and the orangey ones. But yeah, definitely a good all-rounder for all year, Bourbon biscuit.
Do you find those biscuits sometimes are a curse? Because I saw a tweet from you the other day that was your customer had got you some really nice biscuits, and then a little bit like, do you want to tell this story with the door?
Is this one I put out on Twitter about why I can't lose weight?
No, not at all. I wouldn't dare go there. The door that split on you.
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, that's the same house. Yeah, I got there at 8 o'clock, I think, and she made me a cup of tea. She brought it upstairs. She was a lovely, lovely lady, but she bought me this plate, and it must have had about 5 digestives, a few custard creams, and this wedge of cake as well. This was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I can't eat. I'm looking at it thinking, what am I? Because I felt really rude leaving it. So I thought, what am I going to do about it? I think I ate a couple of biscuits, and they were a little bit stale as well.
Where does this lady live?
We won't go there. Southampton. I'm glad I live in Southampton now. She did. She came upstairs at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I think, and actually took the plate away. So I felt bad because I'd only taken 2.
Wasn't that the same job where you they supplied the doors as well, or was that a different job where the door split on you when you were?
Yeah, they supplied the doors from B&Q, and yeah, it majorly split. So I did have to glue it up, clamp it, and I left the clamps overnight, but then I forgot about them the next day. So I had to text her and say I've completely forgotten, and I went back the very next day. So when I undid the clamps, it was properly solid by then. That's
what I meant by the curse of the biscuits. You get these beautiful, nice biscuits at the start of a job, and it dooms the rest of the. I just started talking about the biscuits, didn't I? Forget about the door. I just started talking about the biscuits.
Well, I'm really interested in the apprenticeship side of things, because I think from a UK perspective, it's really pushed at the minute about getting apprenticeships rather than perhaps going to university or college. Do you think that was a good route for you? Would you be like an advocate of apprenticeships yourself?
Absolutely. I much preferred it because I was earning money as I was learning. Now I'm not paying loads of money for fees for who knows what lessons that I don't need to know. So yeah, definitely I think the apprenticeship was the right way to go for me. The UK government as well is pushing apprenticeships and women in construction. I kind of went on board with that, and at the moment it's just myself kind of doing it on my own, but I'm going for a CITB kind of training course to do it with the CITB. But at the moment I go around local schools and talk about being a female in construction and just encouraging people to give it a go, especially trying to get other girls interested in carpentry. Which isn't working too well at the moment, but the more and more things I do, the more and more I talk about it, I know it will help in the long run. So
definitely, it's got to be self-fulfilling to actually know that you're helping the next generation, you're inspiring those young girls to take up the trade and get involved with it, because it, like you've voiced already, it's so enjoyable.
Well, it's nice to know that, I might find someone out there who was like me, who didn't know what they wanted to do. And for me, just to give them the chance and say to them, give it a go. Because I only found out I liked it because I tried it. It wasn't something, if someone had said to me, I'll do carpentry, I'd be like, no, I don't want to do it. But because I tried it out, I realised that I liked it. So, giving someone the opportunity, if someone takes me up on that and then finds out they like carpentry. I've got a very good example of that, actually. I was renovating a house, a mother and daughter. They bought a house in the town where I live. Can I say that, Stephen? I'm caught up on the Southampton thing now. Sorry, Chris.
That's all right. That's okay. Go ahead.
We can go via Stevenage up to Edinburgh.
Yeah. So yeah, they bought this house with the idea of renovating it, and they got me in to do the carpentry work, and I absolutely loved working for them. And we've stayed in touch, and it's to the point. I think it's a couple of weeks before my birthday when I finished it, and they even sent me a birthday card in the post, which was really, really cool. But yeah, we've stayed in touch ever since, and they messaged me a few weeks ago to say we've done our first carpentry course at college because we were so inspired by the work that you did and that you can do carpentry. So I was really proud. I felt like they're my own students kind of thing. I felt so proud of them.
That's fantastic.
Definitely, you should be proud of that. That's brilliant.
I've had a
Yeah,
question for you, and this is going to be you educating the ignorant American, because I'm unfamiliar with a lot of the way things work in the UK. And Nicola, you're looking at me ready to crack up, and to be honest with you, I'm actually going to try to be serious for a second. You mentioned, yeah, she's already cracking up. Look at her. I've spent too much time with her before the show started, everybody. She just kind of doesn't take me seriously anymore. You were talking about your apprenticeships. And I'm curious because there apparently is a system that I'm unaware of that you guys have going on in the UK that it apparently is not happening in the United States. Do you get is this like a degree program where you can get like a college degree, or do you get accreditation for going through these apprenticeships? I mean, it sounds to me like an education system that you guys have that I'm unfamiliar with. I mean, because we can go through vocational training here and become a certified carpenter or a certified electrician. Is that the kind of accreditation you're talking about, or are you talking about something that will give you like a degree?
It's not so much a degree, because you go to university to get a degree. I'm trying to think it ahead now from the educational system. I got a vocational qualification, which was an MVQ level 2. If you were to do carpentry in college without doing the apprenticeship, you get a diploma in carpentry, which basically says you haven't learnt it while working on site, you haven't learnt it in the real scenario, you've just learnt it in college. So those are the two options for doing the construction courses, is either the MVQ or the diploma.
And which one do you think employers are more eager to hire? Are they looking to hire the college, or are they looking to hire the people who have actually done the work?
Definitely the MVQ, the people that have done the work, because then you have a bit more experience. And definitely from my perspective, if I had the choice of two people, if I was employing somebody, I'd want someone who's got a little bit of site experience, just so I could say to them, can you do this, can you do that, without having to show them absolutely everything. Because although the college learning is great, it's a perfect scenario, and nothing out on site is a perfect scenario.
Right. No, I'm with you. And the other question I have for you is, you go by the female chippy. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Another ignorant American question. What is a chippy?
Carpenter. it's just basically, we have.
Is that what it's called
have
in the UK? They call it a chippy? Okay, I didn't know. See, I don't know.
We kind of have like electricians are sparks.
Okay.
I was going to say plumbers are something. Plumbers are plumbers.
Plumbers are
and then yeah, carpenters are chippy. Bricklayers are brickies. but then it does get a bit confusing, because then you could be a chip shop.
Okay, see, I'm already.
I was about to say that.
Alan, jump in, man. Help me out, buddy. Come on.
Should I tell you how it gets even more confusing?
Yeah,
it's because my last name's Butcher. So I've got t-shirts that say Nicola Butcher Carpenter for when I had the old branding, and I hear it all the time. People say to me, "Are you a butcher or a carpenter?" The amount of times I've heard that.
Sorry, Chris, I'm officially lost.
Those of us in North America are completely lost at this moment.
Well, I'll try and rein it in slightly here, because I'm quite interested in the fact that once you did your apprenticeship and you got through all that, did you work for another company first, or did you just take the plunge straight in, because you run your own business, don't you?
Yeah, I run my own business now. That's been going for just over a year. I worked for a company for I think 4 years before that. So that was the same one I did the apprenticeship with. And yeah, just stayed working for them, and then moved out and started my own business last year.
I guess these days with apprenticeships, they're a bit different to how they used to be in sort of our parents' generation, where you did your apprenticeship and you were kind of guaranteed a job. Were you hoping to get a job with a firm, or were you a bit unsure? How was that whilst you were going through your apprenticeship?
It was pretty much written in stone. It was a sole trader. I was the only employee. So once everything started going with the apprenticeship, it kind of just carried on, really. And then I was the one who actually said, no, I'm going to set up on my own, rather than them saying to me, like them firing me or anything like that. So yeah, I could have stayed working there if I wanted to, but I wanted to set up my own business.
What was the sort of the catalyst for that? Was it, rather than work for somebody else, how did you decide, actually, I'm going to do this on my own and I can make this? Because you've made a very successful business, and
yeah.
I'm trying to sort of tease out of you now about some national awards for women in business or something like this that's coming up very soon. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm going to Birmingham on Tuesday, and there's like an overnight stay thing, because there's UK Construction Week going on at the moment. that's this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the NEC in Birmingham. So on the Wednesday, I am a finalist for. I don't know if all of you have heard of Irwin Tools, but they're a hand tool company in the UK. I don't know if they're in America as well or anything. So they run a National Tradesperson Award, UK's Ultimate Tradesperson, and the final for that is on Wednesday. And I'm one of the 5 finalists in the UK and Ireland, which is kind of cool. I really like saying that to people. So yeah, I'll find out on Wednesday if I win that award. And then I come back from Birmingham Wednesday, and Thursday night I've got a gala dinner to go to for the Best Women in Business Awards. I've been named as a finalist for 3 awards there as well.
Awesome. You know what? I'm going to interrupt because not only is that, by the way, congratulations, very impressive.
Thank you.
But
very.
I did manage to do a little bit of research on you. Not a lot.
Okay.
So don't get red-faced. Okay. I don't know everything. I know that kind of your backstory is you worked at a job for 4 years. And after that time, you left that job to start out on your own. You bought your own van and you started out on your own. And that was probably about a year, maybe a year and a month ago that you started your own business, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Your business at one point in time, like you mentioned, was under your own name, but you changed that because there's obviously confusion with butchery and carpentry.
It was more thinking of expansion for the future. And I thought I can't really be advertising it under my name if there's going to be people working for me, because that will get really confusing.
Right. And speaking of that, so the name of your new company is actually called the Female Carpentry Company, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Are you prejudiced? You don't like men? You're not going to hire any guys? What's going on?
I'd love to hire men.
I'm just joking. What I'm trying to get to is the point is, Nicola, tell people who are listening how old you are.
I'm 21.
She's 21 years old, and she's come that far already. I'm sorry, guys. I think that's pretty freaking impressive.
That's incredible.
Absolutely. And I think for anyone who is not from the UK to kind of get to grip, the NEC in Birmingham is the national exhibition centre. It's not just like a large hangar where people have shows and stuff. This is the national. It's enormous. I was there a couple of weeks ago, and the place is just mind-blowingly enormous. And it's deliberately put in Birmingham because it is the centre of the country, and it makes it easy for everybody, whether they're in Southampton or whether they're in Edinburgh, to get to. This is a huge deal just in terms of the show, and you are one of 5
finalists from the UK and Ireland.
That is absolutely bonkers in terms of how important that is.
You have my utter respect. I kid you not. Young lady, you are killing it. I don't mind telling you. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm quite chuffed myself, but it's still sinking in for me. And I found out 2-3 weeks ago, and it's still sinking in for me that I'm one of the 5 finalists. Yeah, it'd be great if I do, because the prize actually is apprentice paid for the whole of 2017. That's part of the prize. And I really want that, because I want to employ somebody, but it's getting the first steps and knowing how to do it, and just having a bit of someone saying to you, it will be all right, a bit of backup. So that having an apprentice paid for the 2017, that will kind of kickstart my business for me. So yeah, hopefully I'll win.
That is very, very impressive. What is also very impressive is I noticed you trained your dog to run a Twitter account. Can you tell us about that?
It doesn't run it very well. It doesn't post much. I
noticed. He's doing all right, though. He got a picture up. I took me a while to figure that out at first.
He's doing a lot more than Chris does.
Touche, Mr. Page.
It's something I do when I get a bit bored, because one of the guys that I follow, he's a photographer, but he does a lot of woodworking. He's a bit of a festoon enthusiast and does a lot of woodworking, and I love seeing what he's doing. And then I noticed that I've been chatting about his dog, and we were talking about his dog and my dog, and then I noticed he had a Twitter account for his dog. And then I was like, my dog's got to have a Twitter account too. I was like, mine's going to have a Twitter account. They're both going to be friends on Twitter.
Can you give us an example of a tweet from your dog?
No, because I haven't tweeted for ages, so I don't know what he tweets about.
You know, something like rough.
Hashtag rough.
It's normally like him chilling out or spending time with his dog friends. So.
Hashtag feed me.
So does Riley actually come to work with you on occasions?
Oh yeah. I've had him. He stays in the van a lot, but I've kind of don't much anymore because he's very energetic now. He used to sleep quite a lot, but now because summer, he stayed at home during summer because it was too hot for him to be in the van.
Sure.
And now he's kind of energetic and doesn't like just sleeping all day. So I'm like unsure of what to do this winter. But he did come to work with me the whole of last week because it was one of my friends, she wanted a bit of work doing. And she said to me, it's fine to bring the dog. She was on holiday. She has a dog herself who was away as well. She said to me, it's fine to bring the dog. And it was brilliant because Riley was just like, I'd be working away and then I'd just look over at him and he'd be sleeping and just like looking up at me, and he's just the cutest dog ever. So I love it. It's kind of just made me feel all nice inside just looking over at my dog falling asleep.
Obviously that takes off a lot of pressure of having a dog myself. You're out all day, the dog's bored. It's like, I'm going to get home at whatever time it is. What have they eaten? What have they chewed up in the day because they're bored? You've got that. What's he like around sort of power tools and noises and things like that? Is he sort of getting used to it, or? He
has got used to it. When I first got him, he was absolutely terrified of the battery drill, and because he was a pup, and I think it was like the second day that I had him, and I just decided to put a coat hanger up. And because he was a puppy, he wanted to be near me the whole time. He viewed me as his mum, being a safe place. And then I got this battery drill out and made this horrendous noise with this battery drill. And he just he was so scared, but he didn't know where to run because he wanted to be next to me, but didn't want to be next to me. But yeah, now he's pretty good. I've been working on a few projects in the house, and he's been great. You know, he just ignores the noises now. He's got used to it, and yeah, he's brilliant.
I have a serious question for you. Because being a female in the business, and we talked about this a little bit last week, guys, about, we talked about the female presence of women on YouTube and kind of what is normally known as a male genre or possibly a male trade. Have you had any problems with clients being apprehensive to hire you because you're a female? What kind of struggles do you have as a female that maybe like the five of us guys may not ever see? Because I'm sure you face some. And don't be shy about relating those to us. I mean, I'm kind of curious because I'm sure a lot of women are probably apprehensive about this because they don't feel like they're in the right genre or whatever. But you apparently have no problem with it. So,
to be fair, a lot of women absolutely love it. I get so many people say, "Oh, I've picked up your card and you're a female carpenter. That's amazing." I would say a couple of times I've been in the situation where you'll find the wife will organise all the work being done in the house, and she'll just say to the husband, "Oh, I've got so-and-so coming, or I've got a carpenter coming to hang some doors." He'll be like, "Yeah, fine." And then I turn up and they're like, "Whoa." Then for them it's like, hang on a second, the girl's doing this job. But yeah, I mean, the women are mostly all right about it, really. They love it. I think that's a good selling point for me.
No, I agree with you. I just didn't know if you faced any kind of male apprehension as to whether they wanted to hire you or not, because based on your gender, and I would hope not. But I mean, there are all kinds of people in the world. I don't know if you faced that kind of adversity yet.
Yeah, not really. There's been a couple of guys that I felt I've not got on with, and there's been a little bit of tension just for me being a girl. But I don't think there's been anyone in particular that wouldn't hire me. Because I am a girl, but then a lot of my work is by recommendation as well.
That's great to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
That's kind of the only way to advertise, really, isn't it? As a tradie.
If you don't have anyone kind of speaking for you and singing your praises, then you're not really likely to get much work.
It's the old saying: you're only as good as your last job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you find you get a lot of, you go from one female customer to the next because they're, I don't know, chatting at mums and tots, or they work in the same office, or
that's one thing that works great for me is women love to chat, and I do as well. We all do it. We go out for coffee, or you get the mums and the toddlers go to the groups and things like that, and they love talking about me. And I have had a lot of work from just the women recommending me to their friends. And that works for me. They'll go out and they'll chat and they'll talk about what they've had done, and they'll show the work. They'll show pictures of the work and everything, and the other women love it. So, yeah, I'd say that works.
Joe's looking like he might have a question there.
Definitely. I think it ties in kind of, because I wanted to mention about, I've seen quite a few TV shows where they'll talk about women in trade just being that much more trustworthy, and I'd really relate to that myself. Like, we've had a few female tradespersons come into our house, and it's always, you feel at ease with them. Like when we've had tradesmen come in, you're watching them, you're thinking, what are them doing? And they're going through our stuff and things like that. But I believe that you've been had a TV appearance yourself, haven't you?
Yep, it's not been on TV yet, but at the end of August I was working on a DIY SOS project in Welwyn Garden City, which is the next town from me. I was working on that. There's probably about 100 local trades there, which was absolutely brilliant. It was an amazing experience, part of all of us volunteers as well. It was incredible.
Great. I mean, a lot of the listeners in the UK, I'm sure they've all will have watched DIY SOS, but for the people around the world, can you just like discuss a little bit about what the show's about, kind of thing?
Okay, so we have it was the big build which we were a part of. We had 9 days in this case to put an extension on the back of a house and rip out the entire house and change the layout a little bit and basically do up every single room. So it was a major renovation project in a matter of 9 days. So we had a massive field at the back of the house where everything was set up, and we had like teas, coffees, dinners, and all the storage units you could ever need. And the house was tiny. I know the American houses are huge, so if I was to say a 4-bedroom house, you'd be thinking of this massive house, but it was a really tiny house, and somehow we managed to all fit in there, and we all got on with our work, and it was done in 9 days, and I think we actually set a record for the show. In between working, there's cameras going around as well, interviewing everybody, having a look at the work that's being done. You've got Nick Knowles, the presenter, going around doing all the chat that he has to do and everything like that. So as well as doing a renovation project, you've got a TV project going on as well.
That's brilliant. I mean, like us being just YouTubers, we always complain about how much it slows down having to set up a camera and little bits and bobs just before you make a cut on the table saw or something. But I couldn't even imagine what it's like with a full film crew watching every move and, like you're saying, stopping you for interviews and stuff like that. I bet it was one hell of an experience.
It was incredible. It's something that I'd love to be able to do again. If they do another local project, I'll be straight on it. And even though there were cameras on the first day, it was a little bit weird because you're working as normal and there's cameras going around, especially like the first day ripping everything out, and there was wallpaper being stripped from every wall and ceiling. So you can imagine the heat in the house. So it all kind of looked a bit of a state, all sweating everywhere, and it was kind of a bit weird, but you got used to everyone going around, and even I was having a bit of banter with the camera guys at one point as well, which was great. And I think everyone started talking about my fingernails as well because I had gel nails done, and I was trying to be careful and protect them because I was going to a wedding the next day. So, it was good.
What is your standard bag of tools? Because I know you work out of a van. What do you normally keep inside the van? I mean, is it soup to nuts, or is it just things specific to the project you're being hired to do?
I keep a lot of, I think the majority of my tools stay in my van. So the day-to-day items would be the Festool circular saw, guide rails and extractor. They're absolutely invaluable, and I couldn't be without them now I've bought one. I've got a couple of routers in there. I use Trend Routing in Watford. They supply me with routers. To be honest, they sell loads of stuff as well. I've got like pocket. I was doing a little project. I don't know if you saw it, was on Twitter, but I did a TV bench, and I got my little Trend pocket hole jig out, and it's my new favourite thing. I absolutely love it because you can put holes for screws. You angle it. I'm trying to think how it works now, but it's got an angle ready set, so you drill it at the angle, and then you can put a screw into the side of the timber. The kind of, I'm not explaining this very well.
It's a pocket hole jig is what you have. So I think we all grasp that pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, you're a woodworker, I think.
The interesting thing about that, Nicola, is there's kind of a big thing with pocket holes that it's a bit like Marmite. So people either love them or they hate them and criticize people for using them. It's almost like the same with the F-bomb. But the fact that you're out there day to day earning your crust, doing your job, and you're loving using pocket holes, I think is fantastic. That's just in the face to everyone that says, oh, pocket holes aren't real woodworking and blah, blah, blah. That's absolute nonsense. And you've just prove
I don't
that.
care what anyone says. It works. It works for me. It's become my new favourite thing, and I'm proud of my little TV bench. So
I'm with you,
I've got-
Nicola. I think they're fantastic.
Brilliant. I've got all that the Makita cordless stuff as well. So the circular saw, the drills, SDS drill, jigsaw, a whole load of Makita cordless kit. I've probably got nearly all of it. What else have I got in there? I've got a Fane Multi-Master. I love that. It's one of my favourite tools as well. They're all my favourites.
How many of these tools were actually given to you, or did you actually earn the money and buy them yourself?
Most of it, I was given £4,000 when I started my apprenticeship, because the grants my employer got from the government were £4,000. He then forwarded on to me to spend on tools, and let me take those tools when I left to start my own business.
What have you invested your own money in? When it came time to purchase something, and it was time for Nicola to pull money out of her pocket and buy a tool, what did you get?
I spent £600 on a Makita chop saw and the legs as well, and I spent about £700 on my Festool guide rails and extraction system.
Right.
And
you're how old again?
21.
Thank you very much. I'm just saying that ought to shut a lot of old guys up that to complain about people who don't. If you want the tools, guys, go out and earn it. You know.
The man has a point.
I love the fact that you bought a Festool. I think that's fantastic.
Have you bought? And I don't know if tradespeople would get approached with sponsorships and things like that, but do tool companies ever approach you and say, "Would you use any of our tools and such and such?"
Yeah, I've been approached by quite a few companies actually. I do kind of use trend products, and they give me products to try out and talk about on Twitter, as well as that Jobman workwear. But there are other companies as well that have come to me and said, "Can we do these projects with you?" I've been approached by Magnet Trade to do an exciting project with them, but that's on hold at the moment. So we'll just wait and see how that's going. But I'm sure as well with the Irwin promotion, because even if I don't win the prize of Irwin, they still ask you to do promotional stuff with them as well. So that will kind of help me out and kickstart the product reviewing and testing side of things as well, get more companies asking me to promote their products.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for you, even just the fact that you're a finalist and looking at it all from purely a business perspective,
yeah,
that's going to open so many doors. I mean, there's a guy from, I think he lives in Leeds, Tibby Singh. He was the BBC Carpenter of the Year
yeah,
a couple of years back, and he actually came on to along with one of my router courses that I run down in Cambridge. Really nice chap.
Oh, cool.
And we were talking about that for quite a while, and he's saying, yes, he still gets loads and loads of work, and he's always constantly busy, but he's even more busy because he's got the sort of publicity side of it as well. And it's always something you're saying, you just get so much, it becomes a hindrance to actually getting on and doing what he loves doing. So
that's what I'm starting to find, because I was actually talking to one of my customers the other day, and I was saying it's a miracle this week that I'm working all the days of the week, because normally I'd be like on Tuesday I'm going to my local college. They're having a Women in Construction Week, so I've said to them I want to be a part of it, and at the last minute I've said to them I'll go and see them in the morning. So it's always like I'm going somewhere, doing something, or even writing stuff for articles, interviews, or reviews for products. So you always have to set a bit of time aside, and it's very rare I will work a 5-day week, and not because I don't have the work coming in. There's plenty of work coming in, but because there's so much other stuff to do as well.
That's kind of the life of the self-employed, isn't it? You don't have a 9 to 5. You have from when you open your eyes to when you close them at night. Absolutely. So, so what are you working on right now? What's your sort of the next job to go to?
On Saturday, it was a nice day, so I built some cupboards in the garden. They'll be for a job next week. I made some little shaker style doors for the cupboards. It's to go in 2 alcoves in the living room, just to create some storage. And I'm going to be posting pictures of that on Twitter when it's done, because I'm really quite proud of how it's going so far. It's my first time actually doing the shaker style doors, so that's quite exciting. I've got a standard kind of hanging some oak doors on Thursday. A whole house full of oak doors. It's all little bits and pieces. I don't do anything particularly major, like big. It's very rare I do a big renovation project. So it's all little bits and pieces. Tomorrow I'm just doing a couple of little bits, doing fittings and skirting and trimming a couple of doors as well. I love doing all the little jobs. That's how, when I first started, I went and I spoke to a few local carpet companies, and I said to them I'd like to trim the doors when they fit the carpet, just because you always have the doors that don't close. And then I've got I think 4 local carpet companies now. They still keep phoning me up and saying we got, and even though it's only a couple of quid a time, it's not very much money. You're passing your card to that person. And I've been in so many people's houses trimming doors, and it's amazing how many will ring you up and say, "Oh, you came and did these doors for us, and we'd like this done now." So that was like a good sales technique for me to start with, and I still do it. Still go and trim the doors for the clients. So I love doing little bits and pieces. It's great. I
really like doing those small jobs because, they end up being your bread and butter in some respects. Because
absolutely,
I get calls so often. It's only a little job, you probably won't be interested, and obviously you don't spell it out to the customer so much, but it's those little jobs that add up, and it's these guys that they get asked to do a small job, they're not interested, and people moan about that, but you start taking these small jobs, they lead on to other jobs, and they all add up to big jobs, and that's what keeps a business rolling.
What I like about now is you can put them in for like a Saturday morning, and it's an hour or 2 hours work, but it's your spending money for the weekend. So it kind of like you've earned your money during the week to pay the bills and to cover everything else, and then you get the little bit of spending money for the weekend, and that's what I like.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, I tell you what, I'm absolutely so chuffed, not just that you came on the show, but for you as a businesswoman and for what you've achieved in such a small space of time. It's absolutely fantastic. And genuinely, Nicola, thank you for letting myself and these other 4 lunatics chat to you for the last hour. And I've got so many questions that I'd love to ask, but we are conscious that we're running out of time, and there's going to be people sat in their car parks with their bosses scowling at them from the first floor windows if we don't try and reluctantly wrap this up quickly. So I'll stop jabbering now. So we've heard what you're working on. I didn't ask the guys at the start of the show what everyone's working on, but Joe, what have you got going on over in your part of the world? Well,
I've managed to catch up a bit because I've been a bit behind these last few weeks. So I've got a video done for some breeze block carving, which will have been out on Monday night. And then I've also got a little table that a chap carved my logo in and sent it to me, and I've just finished it off. So it's just something quick and simple, and I just hope people get ideas from it, and that should be out later in the week. So keep an eye out for that one.
Cool. That's, I take it, in post-production at the moment, is it?
Yeah, I've just got the edit finished actually, but I've not decided when to release it yet. So
tomorrow, do it tomorrow. We want to see it.
Yeah, maybe.
How about you, Jamie? What are you working on? You've been doing some scroll saw stuff, have you not?
Yeah, I did the Maker Care video today of the little woodpecker. So yeah, that video's out now. And the other video I done was I put out the face shield challenge, which is basically get a face shield, whether it be a welder's mask or a wood turner's face shield, and just decorate it however you want. There's no time limit, so you can, if you want to do a Halloween themed one, you can do a Halloween themed one. If you want to do a Christmas themed one, you can wait till Christmas and do a Christmas themed one. Basically, the rules are there are no rules. It's all about having fun.
That's what more things should be about. Is that your challenge, or was that a Pat Lap? Forgive me for my ignorance.
It was inspired by a Pat Lap.
Okay, yes, right. I thought there was a connection with Pat Lap.
Pat Lap decorated his, and therefore there was the birth of the facial challenge.
Cool. How about you, Alan? I just watched your chair video today.
Oh yeah, I did the chair last weekend. That was from Opa Costner's New Life Challenge. I found an old cast iron chair on the side of the road. It was completely rotted out and looked like crap. So I just, brought it back to life, and I gave it to my mother-in-law as a gift, and she absolutely loved it. But today I'm working on a collaboration with Steve Carmichael, Eli Escajado, Waylight Creations.
That's right. Yes, I know what you're going to say now.
Jimmy and myself. I believe that's it. We're making covers of rock albums from whenever. I'm doing Rush Sector 1. I just finished it now, and it came out fantastic. I don't usually do like artwork type of stuff, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I got out of my comfort zone a little, and did a little bit of steel work in this one, and it was a lot of fun.
And they're all getting released on the same day, aren't they? I think because I saw your little teaser video about that.
Yeah, it's getting released on the 23rd. I actually have to do 2 videos for that day because I had committed to the rock album collab a couple months back and forgotten about it, and then I went ahead and committed to MF Woodshop's zombie weapon challenge, which is also on the 23rd. So I have to have 2 videos prepared for the same. We're going to lose some viewership, but they're both so much fun I could not do it.
No point turning down videos like that. Gets you busy in the shop.
Exactly.
Good stuff. And Chris, what are you up to?
Busy week for me. I've got 2 videos coming out next week. I've got kind of an update video coming out on Thursday, which would be tomorrow. And it's just an update video answering some viewer questions about Channel Pass and some upcoming things, and also promoting another video I have coming out on Sunday, which is as Alan mentioned on the 23rd, Mike Fulton's Zombie Weapons Challenge. And I had a lot of fun making this video, because it's totally not me. I mean, I'm not comedic. I don't try to be funny. It's well, it's kind of a semi-serious take on a maker's view of paying homage to the show The Walking Dead, which premieres Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And so Mike kind of knew that a lot of us were fans of the show, and he just kind of contacted us and said, hey, you want to do a challenge and we'll release it the same day as the premiere? And I said, sure, I'm all in. So I spent a lot of time on the video that's coming out this coming Sunday. And it was a lot of fun to do. So watch it, but don't expect to see the average me, because I had to kind of go out, like Alan said, out of my comfort zone to actually do this video. But I had a lot of fun doing it. It was a great time. So I'm really looking forward to, because there's like 17 of us. Am I wrong, Alan? There's like 17 of us that are doing videos minimum, for this zombie. Yes, there's like 17 videos that if you're a viewer of YouTube, on Sunday at 12 noon, there will be 17 videos hitting at the same time regarding the Zombie Weapons Challenge. So it'll get you in the mood to watch The Walking Dead that evening. So that's kind of what I'm into. I'm really excited about this.
Oh my God, it's gonna be like a zombie attack by the
it's gonna be great. I love scary movies. It's close to Halloween and everything. Like we talked about that before. It's not big in the UK, but it's huge over here, so I'm happy about it.
Magic. I actually quite like the Walking Dead. I sort of binge watch things like that rather than do it when I get time. But I actually don't have a video coming out this week. I've been completely just inundated with work and bizarre things. So the first part of this week, I was working for a client. I had a kitchen to skim, a load of boxing in to do, stuff in the bathroom, and that took 3 days. I'm back there again on Monday, and then Wednesday I finished off for the week. So Thursday what was I doing Thursday? Oh, Thursday I had a film crew come to my workshop, which was a bit bizarre. It was a really weird feeling. That was some guys over at Fine who sent me a dust extractor to have a look at, and then they sent a film crew over, which was, like I said, it was just insane. So that was the whole day written off. And then Friday I got an invite to Bracknell, which is the head office for 3M, this little company that you might have heard of. It was
a little company called 3M. Yeah, just a small little company.
Well, they've got quite a select product catalogue. I think it's about 55,000 products that they run, the girl was saying. But it was a tour around their innovation centre, and they actually take like school trips, science trips around there. So it was a lot of fun playing with like these interactive display things like you get at the Science Museum. So that was a lot of fun. And then obviously with the weekend, I was then had to catch up on jobs for my other half that she's been waiting months for. So today I was working on some thresholds for the floor. Do you remember I put the kitchen in for her like ages ago? I think I did a video on cutting the worktops.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that was that long ago. And we had the floor done. We had a tiler come in to do the floor, and I never got around to doing the thresholds for 2 doors. So she finally pinged me down and said, "You're not leaving the house until they're finished." So I had to make those today. So I've had no videos out, and I probably won't. Possibly, maybe if I get time this week, I might do like a little vloggy type thing with what happened there. But that's what I've been up to. And I'm sure Nicola can appreciate. You get these calls coming in and slots that have to be taken down, and the jobs at home, they all just they just don't get done, do they?
I never do anything at home. It was actually, I was saying to one of my friends, it was a refreshing change and really nice that I actually built something for myself this weekend. Like the amount of times I say to myself, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I never actually do anything. And yeah, you get so, you know, you're doing paperwork. If I'm not working on the weekends, I'm doing paperwork, estimates, invoices, researching stuff, and you just never get time.
A lot of people forget that. I think is, you know, you might get a job to do for a customer. You get called to their house to look at something. You've then got the time it takes to go and visit them. Then you've got to go back. You've got to do your estimates. Then you've got to go ringing around with all your suppliers. And it's like, you know, the YouTubers can relate to. You do a project in your workshop, but then you've got all the camera stuff, the lighting stuff, and the editing stuff, and it all just kind of bubbles in together and just eats away at your time. It's and as such, I have limited time to watch. Do you watch YouTube at all?
Little bits and pieces. I'm guided by what my other half likes to watch. He's very much. I hope he doesn't listen to this when I say it, but he hogs the TV. And, he puts forward what he likes, and I watch what I like when I'm not around. When he's not around. So
what are you watching on YouTube at the moment then?
A lot of it's car stuff. So we're talking about Jamie FYD or other people that talk about cars, and I just kind of stare at it and tune out. Other things, like you get the occasional watch a little bit of creepy stuff, like top fives. They do like a Halloween month because it's October, and all kind of creepy things like ghost hauntings and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. There's something else I was going to mention, I've forgotten what it is now, other than the usual kind of cats doing strange things and being annoying jerks, and cute puppies, of course. Cute puppies.
Personally, I think Riley should take the bounce from Twitter, and I think he should start up his own YouTube channel. A Day in the Life of Van Dog. I would definitely watch those.
Oh,
maybe we should do that.
I think I love you already.
You just reminded me. I occasionally watch. It was a show from America, I think. This Old House. I got into watching a lot. I got into watching a lot of that not so long ago, and I do occasionally watch little bits and pieces of how-tos and stuff on there, and I love that show.
Do you find there's you pick up techniques that the Americans are using that perhaps we wouldn't think about over here, or do you think, well, if we did it that way, it'd be much quicker than using.
I watch a lot of DIY shows complaining about how they work, but I guess subconsciously there's things that you see and you think, actually, yeah, that kind of works. That's kind of a good way to do it. But yeah, I'm quite critical when I watch DIY shows.
That's how it should be.
Absolutely.
How about you, Alan? What are you watching at the moment on YouTube?
I am watching Chris Jennings over at Azaleas TV. He made a soldering iron station, and it couldn't have come at a better time because I just started buying LED light strips. Ooh. And I want to make my own lighting for the shop for my videos, but I have to do some soldering for it, and I've never done any soldering before, and I know it's incredibly easy, so I ordered a soldering iron and the wire for it and all that stuff, and the same day it came in was the same day his video went up, which I thought was amazing. So I thought I'd take a crack at following his video and making his whole soldering station. It just looked really cool. Be sure to check him out. He does some really strange stuff, and I'm pretty sure his workshop is in his bedroom or his kitchen or something like that.
Well, I've actually been watching a lot of Frank's videos. Frank Summondale, I've got to butcher his name as well. I'm really sorry, Frank. But over at Sawblade Projects on YouTube, and he recently just released his video for the birdhouse competition, and he based his birdhouse all around the traditional Slovenian way of building houses, and I've never seen anything like it before. So the it's raised up off the ground, and it's a really interesting build, and of course we get a nice little shout out in it as well. But I've really got into Frank's videos recently, so he's well worth checking out.
Magic. And Chris, are you watching anything interesting that we should hear about?
Yeah, actually, I found a gentleman. His name is Daniel. He's from Argentina, and I would attempt to pronounce his last name, but Daniel, I would butcher it. So I'm going to spell it for you. And please check this gentleman out on YouTube if you can. His name is Daniel. His last name is spelled Solowij.
Selowij.
Selowij?
Daniel Selowij. He is the man.
Alan, you're the man. Thanks, Selowij. I like that.
Daniel, he's my boy.
Daniel Selowij and he's from Argentina. He just released the latest episode of Channel Pass, and he did a wonderful job with it. He's not a native speaking American. He's obviously speaks Spanish, and he did the best he could with it. And I thought he did an awesome job, and he passed it on to July with Fits. So I just wanted to give Daniel a big shout out and say thank you so much for that. And if you have the opportunity, please check out Daniel's channel because he's a pretty good dude.
That's really good. I'm glad you actually mentioned the channel pass because I was waiting for the next installment to come out. That's the rebooted channel pass, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, correct.
Cool. And how about you, Jamie? You're skulking in the background there, looking a bit inconspicuous for once. So chances are you've been watching loads of YouTube.
As always, I've actually got a couple, and actually makes a change, but the first one's not from YouTube. It's actually from Twitch.
That's the live stream thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was Sarah from Wartooth Designs. She's a graphic designer. I believe Chris knows who I'm talking about. She's been on the Maritime Maker Show a couple of times.
She's awesome.
Which is where I saw her. And yeah, she posted a link on Facebook the other day to her Twitch page. So I thought I'd go and check it out. And she was drawing, the movie Anchorman? Well, she was drawing all of them characters, but as potatoes. It was. I thought, that sounds like my kind of art. So it was really, really good, and it was a good time. We sat there talking and talking about the makers sort of community and things like that. But it was. Definitely go and check out all her stuff. All the links will obviously be in the show notes and stuff like that. But she can be found everywhere under Wartooth Designs. The second one I want to give out is on YouTube, and that is Sterling Davis.
Yes.
The shout out is the reason for this one is the cheater that he done on the scroll saw, which was the Andy Berkey design. That thing is incredible.
I saw a picture of that, and that does look absolutely mad. I think I've said it before. There's no way I'd have the patience to do something like that. So I'm in awe of anyone that does to start with.
Exactly. And how cool is Sterling? How do you not like Sterling Davis and respect the work
Absolutely.
that he does? That guy is awesome. He's cool.
And not only that, he's coming up to 10,000 subscribers as well. So if everyone can go over there and give him a sub, push him over the edge. Not that he's not done that already.
If anyone can push anyone over the edge, I think it's you, Jamie.
So it's Sarah from Wartooth Designs and Sterling Davis.
Fantastic.
Okay.
We'll make sure that everything like that's in the show notes, of course. Now, I'm going to kind of go against the grain a little bit here because I have been watching a YouTube channel which isn't kind of a person, it's a company. And I think companies get sort of kind of left out a little bit sometimes because, obviously anything a company puts out has got that sort of marketing twist to it, and then people are a little bit suspicious of it, perhaps. But I've been watching the Tensor Global channel. Now, this is a company, it's a global company, and they basically do spray adhesives. Now, I appreciate that they're selling spray adhesives, and that's the reason they have their channel, but they actually put tips and tricks on there as to how you can use spray adhesives in project work, just kind of generically. So these tips still apply whether you use somebody else's spray adhesive or whatnot. But I actually really like the project, and I don't know if, Nicola, you've used their stuff before at work, Tensor Grip.
I don't think I have.
It is really, really good. I've used it, on client jobs several times, and it's really quick. And it saved me a lot of time and hassle and money and whatnot anyway. But I met the guys at the W16 show that I think I talked about in the last episode, and they're really nice people. And we were chatting for ages. They're helpful, they're nice, they're really approachable people. And I went back to their channel and I was looking up a few things for techniques. So if you do veneering, if you do, quick jobs sticking panels together or weird substrates to other mediums, then definitely have a look at their channel for A, how to do it, and B, they've probably got an adhesive that does that as well. So that's how I'm going to just do a little shout out for this week. So I think, have we covered everything? I'm still reeling from all the information that Nicola's been talking about, to be perfectly honest.
I think we're good.
Excellent. Well, I guess then in that case, people's bosses will be looking at their watches and ushering them into work or whatever, quite thankfully.
Can I just wish Nicola all the best for the upcoming awards, and fingers crossed for you.
Definitely, we've all got our fingers crossed.
Thank you. I'll be updating everything on Twitter.
Absolutely.
So,
Good
be
luck.
sure to give us a follow if you want to find out.
Absolutely. Well, I
Yeah.
think before I say goodbye, I actually, Jamie, you beat me to it, but I was going to say that because, definitely good luck. I'll be watching with bated breath. And you're talking about Twitter because you're big on Twitter. Is there anywhere else we can find you, Nicola, if people don't know you already?
I'm on Facebook as well, under the Female Carpentry Company. I need to actually get on that and update that a bit more and keep that a bit more updated. But Twitter is normally the one. I'm on Instagram as well as the Female Chippy, and that's the place to go if you want cute pictures of Riley. Because I tend to post more pictures of Riley on there than I do of my actual work. So yeah, I'm on those three at the moment, and I'm looking at getting a website next year. So,
Excellent. And you've got some really good reviews on Facebook because, like Chris was saying, I did a little bit of backwards research into you as well, and there's a lot of just raving reviews to your work. So congratulations with that. But
Thank you.
well, thank you for coming on the show. Where can we find everybody else, Joe?
Just search Google Average Joe's Joinery. Nice and simple.
Excellent. And Chris?
Chris Cute on YouTube. Make the First Cut on Facebook.
And if we don't know already, Alan?
Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube under the Woodworking Junkie.
And of course, if anyone actually cares, what about you, Jamie?
YouTube, it's JP Woodwork, and Instagram and Twitter, it's JP_Woodwork.
Fantastic. Well, I've been Rick Morley. You can find me at brainfizz.uk. I'm also on YouTube under my channel. Big thank you to Nicola for coming on the show. I think we'd love to have you on again because it's been really good.
I was going to say thank you so much for having me, and yeah, I'd love to do it again. So if ever you need a guest at some point, let me know.
Excellent. Well, I think that's pretty much everything. All the information is going to be in the show notes, so check those out for all the information, particularly obviously Nicola's work as well. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good week, everybody.
See you next week.
See you later.
Have a week.
Bye.